How's it going, YouTube? It's BraxtonComix here, and today I'm bringing you guys my complete Qliphort deck profile. As I said, probably about a month ago now, I'd be bringing you guys a finished deck profile, and honestly, I like to think that it's done. I don't actually have any of the support from Secrets of Eternity, maybe a few comments, I haven't checked them in a while, but from what I have here, this deck works. It's pretty consistent. I'll be taking it to another locals pretty soon, and it still works. I don't ever really need the extra deck. I have a few cards in it though, which I'll get to in a few minutes. But as I've said before, Qliphorts don't necessarily need an extra deck. The side deck is basically finished. I'm just missing two cards, and the deck's basically done. So I figured now is probably the best time I bring you guys a deck profile for this. So without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, you guys, here is the complete main deck, extra deck, and side deck. Before I go any further, I would like to say, yes, I know Shaddolls and Satellar Knights are still becoming irrelevant, like I said in my last video. Very proud of that one, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. But Burning Abyss are probably going to be the biggest matchup of the format. Probably still going to have some trouble against Satellar Knights and Shaddolls if I ever go up against them, but you never know. But this is basically what I have for the main deck, so let's get into it. So we have to start off, of course, with the 3 Qliphort Scout. Scout searches out basically everything you need in the deck. 3 of this is ridiculous. Being able to spam with this guy for days with Trampolinix is just insane. Even being able to Pendulum Summon himself after he's been destroyed is fantastic. I like the fact that he's a level 5, not just because he's the Summoner Art target, but also if we ever need to go in for a rank 5 Xyz, which, again, as I said before, you never do, but I feel that you still should play at least 1 or 2. So next up are 3 copies of Qliphort Carrier. I'm not playing Stealth at the moment just because I don't have it, and I do need to apologize for my last deck profile. I thought that, as I said, I thought Stealth's effect was basically the same as Carrier, except it's not. It's basically whenever it's successfully Tribute Summoned, you get to return a card on the field to the hand and your opponent can't change its effect. So obviously it's not exactly the same as Carrier, but I still find Carrier a pretty consistent card. You need to play it at 3 no matter what. Next up, 2 copies of Helix. I still find that this at 2 is pretty consistent. I'm still not needing to pop as much back row as I do because I have enough back row spell and trap destroyers as I do. Next up, 2 disc. Still playing 2 of this. If I could ever trade for a 3rd copy, I would definitely play the 3rd copy because I'm seeing more and more decks these days run 3, and I understand why. Next up, the 1 non-shiny Qliphort in the deck, which is Shell. I really like Shell anyway. I mean, I don't care about Stealth at this point in time. Monolith, I could even care less about, even though it is draw power. Shell I like just because he can attack multiple times, and piercing damage is very, very nice, in my opinion. The 28 beater, just in general, I really like. Next up, we're almost done with the monsters. 3 copies of Trampolinix, the Pendulum Cat. I find this very, very strong at 3. I'm never really needing to go into Odd Eyes anymore, and I know that's been cut from so many decks. And I like Trampolinix at 3 just because it builds up consistency in the deck. I never find 3 Trampolinix cloggy, and Trampolinix being what it is crazy. And then finally, 1 copy of Towers, because I still find Towers pretty consistent in my build. I know there's less and less builds that use it anymore, and there are even some hand traps being main decked in some Qliphorts that I've seen. And Towers is just a cider. I don't even think Sky Palace is used in any Qliphorts for that matter. I mean, that's another thing I should probably talk about. Sky Palace is meh, in my opinion. I still find Towers way more consistent. If Sky Palace was a level 10 like Towers, it'd probably be better. But that's just one less level for opponents to worry about if we're ever going up against a deck that sides Stygian Dirge, which is kind of sided. I haven't seen too many side decks play it recently, so I wouldn't know, but I still find Towers better than Sky Palace any day. Next up for the spells, Snatch Steal. This sets up OTKs, I don't care what you guys say. 2 Duality, opening up with this is pretty strong. And even in the grind game, this is a really good searcher. Qliphorts don't always special summon, and you don't really need to worry about them having to special summon. It's only when you're going for game that you really need to pendulum. And this, just at any point in the game, I think, it's not just during the grind game or turn 1. This is a searcher for just about everything. 3 Summoner's Art. You need this no matter what. Summoner's Art searches out your Scout and sometimes Monolith if you play it. I don't know if you do, but I don't. 3 Upstart Goblin. Again, just to help build up consistency. Consistency. I can't say words tonight. But yeah. Upstart Goblin is what it is. Patrick Hope style. That's all I'm saying. 3 Forbidden Chalice. I still like playing this. I don't know how many other Qliphort decks still run this, like a lot of other things that I've said so far. But I still really, really appreciate what Chalice can do for me. Same thing with 3 copies of Sacrifice. This card is like almost just not supposed to be a thing. Like I've argued with some of my friends about this card. Sacrifice is just too impossible to be a card, honestly. This card gets off too many pluses. Equipping to a Qliphort monster, whatever. 300 attack, who cares? I mean, instant 21 attack if you normal summon something. Can't die by battle, and even if this thing gets sent to the graveyard, you search out another Qliph monster, which is phenomenal. And even if you just set this thing, your opponent MSTs this thing, who cares? Free search. It is insane what this card can do for the deck. If this thing gets hit, by God, I'm going to be pissed. But it's still really relevant. And finally, 3 MST. I prefer 3 MST over Night Beam right now because at this point I don't have Night Beam. But the Night Beam will probably get a reprint. One of my friends, and you know who you are, has a very strong feeling about it getting a reprint in Secret Forces, like it was announced a few days ago. Abyss Dweller was a reprint, so I'm pretty excited about that. Anyway, that's all for the spells. A lot of spells in this deck. A lot more than I ever thought I'd ever need. Finally, for the traps, Bombless Trap Hole, because gotta play Bombless. 2 Breakthrough Skill, love my ultimate so much. You can't negate enough effects in this deck. You just can't. Double Vanities, finally got my second copy. If I could get a 3rd copy, oh my god, I would be god in my community, honestly, because not too many decks that I come up against play meta decks. I'm in my school right now, I'm kind of the only one that plays meta, and it really doesn't bother me. But when I go into locals, you need to get vanities. At least I do. You need to get vanities as much as possible. Not just you, just me too. But it's vanities. Must I say more? And then finally, the last cards we play are 3 Skill Drain. Skill Drain is just so strong with Qliphorts. People have tried playing Reclimate, which is basically a skill drain for Qliphorts, but it just doesn't compare to what skill drain can do for you. So that's it for the main deck. I believe that was either a straight 40 card deck or 41. I think with the addition of my 3rd Trampolinix that made it 41. For the extra deck, it's just a bunch of random stuff. Dark Rebellion, Black Ship, Cowboy, Volcasaurus, Durandal, Gaia Dragon. The most recent thing I've even added in here is Durandal, and even then I never go into it. Again, extra deck, I see just Qliphorts stacking so they can make the opponent think turn 1 they're going for something else. So, yeah, again, I can't stress this enough. Qliphorts don't really need an extra deck. For the side deck, though, this is where some things... The side deck is kind of based on my taste, honestly. Not all of it is based off of what I've seen on other decks, but I think it works just as well. First off, 2 copies of Dinotherium. I was really skeptical about this card when I first saw it in Qliphort side decks, but I see now that this works. Being able to special summon this card from your hand, sure. I mean, it can build up for an Exceed if you don't have the Pendulum Scale set, but this forces your opponent to special summon a level 4 monster from their graveyard, since your all but one of the monsters you play in the main deck are pendulums. They are forced to go for one of their guys in their graveyard. And since Shaddolls and Burning Abyss guys, they don't have too strong, too many attack power, this thing can run over them pretty easily. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't negate their effects, so if they have any field effects, this thing doesn't negate them. But honestly, by the time you play this guy, you shouldn't have to worry about negating effects. I was about to bring Skill Drain into this, but now that I think about it, after you special summon Dinotherium from the hand, you can do that, but I don't think with Skill Drain on the field, you can let your opponent special summon a monster for free, which, honestly, I don't see being too problematic. 4 hand traps, the form of triple Max C. Max C is too strong in this format, just because of how often you can pendulum summon, and I know for a fact that I've seen at least 2 ARG builds with 2 Max C main decked and then one-sided. I find that pretty interesting. I don't know how exactly strong that can work, because I haven't tested it out too much yet, but I have a strong feeling that it does work. And then the 4th being a Swift Scarecrow. Then that's all the monsters. For the spells, this is based off my taste. 1 Laser Quip, their field spell. I really like this card. I tried main decking it in some of my earlier testing. It didn't work out, so I decided to just decide it. Being able to keep your Qliphort monsters from being negated because of their... Let me just read this off. Normal summons of Qliph monsters cannot be negated. Simple as that. I really like that about Laser Clip. It is a field spell, which I'm seeing a trend anymore. Konami is at least releasing 1 field spell per set these days, which is interesting, but I don't think they're too effective. But Laser Quip, at least as a sider, I like. Next up, this is not even based on taste, I can guarantee you that. 3 Spell Shattering Arrow, gotta play this no matter what. Burn damage, free Pendulum Scale Destruction, it works out so well. And if you guys saw my last deck profile, then you know why I'm playing this. I'm playing 2 copies of Ceasefire. My god, I hate the mixed match rarity on this card. I feel so horrible. I hope to get one pretty soon. But by the time you can set this, your opponent and you, basically, you have a lot of monsters on board. And being able to burn your opponent with this much damage is ridiculous. And then finally, the last card that I play in this deck, which I'm missing 2 copies of for the siders, are 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Of course, I only have 1 on hand, but sucks to be me. Honestly, now that we're getting into the Secrets of Eternity format, I'm finding myself not too trustworthy with the Ceasefires. I might just cut those out for like Light Imprisonings, because I feel that making Dante plays and Virgil's, that kind of thing, I think that Shadow Imprisoning Mirror would be better, but I like the burn damage so much more. So, yeah, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Anyway, guys, that wraps up this Qliphort deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. I will be uploading another video pretty soon. I don't want it to be too spoilery for now, because it's a pretty exciting video, I really have to say. So if you guys want to check it out, please do so. I'd appreciate it if you do. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment your thoughts on this deck. I'm BraxtonComix, signing out.